Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's On at DisneyPlus.com. It's Thursday, it's time for a quick Disney Plus news roundup where I'm going to be talking about Disney Plus, Hulu and ESPN Plus becoming available within one app. Also going to be talking about Disney Plus losing subscribers, the ad tier coming to Disney Plus in Europe, and much more. But before we go any further, make sure you do hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest Disney Plus news. Also hit that little like button as well, because that sends a signal to YouTube that you like my content. Okay, it's finally happening. The news I have been waiting to talk about for years. I've been waiting for this. Couldn't believe it yesterday. Was going into these quarterly financial results from Disney last night and was wondering, like, are we going to get any announcements or not? Because it's been relatively quiet. And then they do. They come out and say, Bob Iger says that Disney is going to be having all of its content from its free streaming services, Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu, all available within one app, and it's going to be happening by the end of the year. Now, it was very vague in terms of what he was talking about. There was not a lot of detail in how it's all going to work. There was a lot of discussion throughout the Q&A and throughout like a 40+ minute presentation. I suspect we'll find out more next week during the upfront event when they talk to investors. There's also an investors Q&A as well happening next week. So hopefully we're going to find some more information. So what does this all mean? So first off, Disney as of yet hasn't activated the clause to buy out Comcast's stake in Hulu. That can't happen until next year, but it looks like this is going to be happening. Bob Iger spoke about the fact that he's had meetings with them and that's the way they're going, but they can't kind of preempt it. This is why this is going to be a little bit of a messy kind of system. It's not a straight up merger in the way that we would expect. It's not just like them adding the Star tier onto Disney Plus in the US. Now this one's going to be a little bit more complicated. There's a lot of issues that are going on with this. So what is going to happen is they're going to be launching, basically they have said that they're going to be making Hulu available within Disney Plus because they want to add the general entertainment content that will drive success. They have had a huge amount of success around the world with the addition of the Star brand, the general entertainment content, which includes stuff from ABC, FX. That has worked. They've proven to work. They want to do that in the US. But the Hulu situation does make it much harder, especially with the fact that Comcast still own a third of the streaming service. And they kind of have to resolve that before they can go any further. Now, I would not be surprised that on any given day in the next few months, we will finally have kind of confirmation that the deal has been done. I think that's going to be happening. But the main thing is now is Disney have put the line in the sand. They have set out what they are doing. We're going to see one platform with everything on it. It's all going to be under Disney Plus. Now, there might be like tiers and options. I imagine like ESPN Plus is going to end up getting added into Disney Plus like it is on Hulu, where if you are a bundle subscriber or you can add it as a tier, you'll be able to access them with that. You know, I spoke about that for a lot of time. But yeah, so that's one thing. Hulu is a little bit more complicated again, whether or not if you're a subscriber when you're going to go into Disney Plus and then you're going to be able to have all the access. Again, we don't yet know if it's going to be an add-on tier or if they're going to merge them. I think it's going to depend on what happens with Comcast, but we're starting to see now where they're going. Hulu is no longer essentially for sale, though I wouldn't be at all surprised if maybe what's going to happen with Hulu Live TV, that could maybe be spun off, or I don't know. That's a big question over the Live TV. There was no kind of discussion about that. But from the streaming point of view, Disney know that this is where the business is going. They know that linear is dropping off and they need to build up the business. But Hulu is essentially so successful in the US because of the advertising system that they need to bring this into Disney Plus. And so that's what they're going to be doing. We're going to be having as I said, we've got the upfront event next week, which is where all the advertisers come together to buy advertising for the coming season. So this is where they're going to be wanting to get in on it. So that is obviously a key thing moving forward on this. Also, I think just in general, you know, this was a very vague kind of thing. It wasn't a straight up, we're merging them together, because while there's going to be, Disney Plus is going to have access to Hulu and ESPN Plus within it, they're still all going to be available individually. I suspect this is because at the minute Comcast is still its own separate thing. It can't be merged in until they buy it. But things can change. Also, they're setting the tone that this might not happen until December. So therefore they're setting out like basically a 6-month plan to get us ready for it. Sow the seeds, get the word out of it. So when it does happen, we're going to be much more used to it. We are already seeing the effects of what's been happening. They've been doing it with Disney Plus all year, where we're seeing the subtle little changes that they made. We've seen them bring in the passwords and the parental control information and stuff got changed last year. But also we're starting to see things being shared. A Small Light is on Disney Plus and Hulu. A brand new film, Flaming Hot, is going to be on Disney Plus and Hulu. I suspect we're going to see a lot more of this. We've been seeing Disney Plus stuff go into Hulu. So this is going to be a major thing moving forward. As I said, things are very vague. There's lots of questions. We don't know a lot of answers, but we now know the direction they're going in. They are going to go down into one sort of platform. And I suspect we're going to end up with ESPN Plus, and then Disney Plus is going to have everything in there. It's all going to be under that. It's not going to be a separate, because they kind of talked about it a little bit later on that it will be available within Disney Plus. I think that's basically where they're going. It just makes much more sense. So the reasons, obviously, for why they are doing this there's a lot of good reasons for it. So first off, it's going to be able to reduce costs on a number of different levels. First off, they are going to be able to make a lot less content. They've been very open about the fact they're going to be making less, making better stuff, a more curated list, because they can't just keep throwing stuff out. I've been saying this for a long time, especially here internationally on Disney Plus. We are getting so much content each week. I think just on like Wednesday, there was like 10 to 15 different things arriving from all around the world, and there's a lot of stuff. And in the US, I don't think sometimes, because it's all over the place, arriving on ABC, and then it's on FX, and then it's on Nat Geo, and then it's on Hulu. You can't quite see it all because it's all being separated. But when you see it all being put together, there's a lot of stuff coming in. So they're going to be reducing that. They're going to be reducing the amount of international originals. They're going to be cutting back on the local programming. I suspect they're still going to be making some, but they are going to be cutting things back. So that's one issue. Another big issue is going to be obviously staffing. They only need to have one system. Now, apparently they have been working on the actual tech side of merging in and bringing in the legacy Hulu system into Disney Plus. This has been going on for well over 18 months. It's not a surprise. We'd expect them to be working on this for a while, but that has been the plan, because ESPN Plus is already built on Disney Plus tech, so that's a lot easier for them to incorporate. And the other good thing is that they've already got all the usernames and passwords are all kind of, now we've got this Disney bundle. They're already connected. So we're not going to have the same issue that currently like Warner Brothers Discovery are having, trying to merge their platforms together, or like between like Showtime and Paramount Plus. Disney have already got that all sorted, so that makes things a little bit easier. But also marketing. When they put out an advertising, and they can now just promote one thing. They can run one advert for the entire system. So that's very interesting. He also spoke a little bit about the fact of wanting to publicize films and new releases a little bit more. Essentially, they can't afford to promote all the different shows, and so therefore they want to push things a little bit more. And I think that makes a lot more sense. They can push their tempo films. I think we are going to see less original stuff in terms of films, but then when we are going to get one, they're going to be able to promote it a little bit more with that. So that's one thing that's going to be changing. But also just one much more simpler for one system. That's a lot easier as well. Better for the consumer, because it drastically reduces the amount of churn internationally already, where the amount of people that are unsubscribing. If you've got everything in one, Disney's streaming bundle has already proven that the bundle people don't unsubscribe as quickly. And so that's a key thing, really, is ultimately this is something that I'm going to be talking about for a long time, because this is not going to be a simple switch like they did with Star. It's going to take much longer for them to do, but we now know the plan. We know what's going to be happening. We know it's going to be changing, and I think that's for the best. So it is. This is massive news, really. The idea of them eventually kind of merging things in together. We've known that this 2024 sort of deadline has been looming, and we're now just over 6 months away, and therefore, now we know what's going on. So it's a very complicated system. It's not going to be as easy to kind of merge all this stuff together. I suspect sports will still be, that's still going to be an extra paid thing. How they're going to do the Hulu and the Disney Plus pricing, they're charging $9.99 at the minute for the two, so I suspect they'll end up probably just merging that together. There are going to be some price rises for the ad tier and a bit more of a difference, so I think we are going to see some prices coming. I suspect that if they're going to do this, it would probably make more sense to do this when they kind of maybe do a launch of this new system, the new Disney Plus. That's how I would expect them to do it, because it's much easier to kind of go, look at all this extra stuff, and you know, we're merging in it's probably how that's all going to work, but obviously we don't yet know. Now, there are some downsides to this, and they did reveal during the quarterly results that they are going to be removing content from Disney streaming platforms. They're looking to, they've put in nearly $2 billion is going to be expected to be off of next quarter's budget because of removals. Now, it was very vague. It just said streaming platforms. In all honesty, I don't think there's a lot on Disney Plus in the US that they can take off. I mean, you can take off some Lifetime stuff, and yeah, they might take some things off that's maybe been cancelled. I mean, that might be something that they do to try and cut costs. But I am guessing that the majority of these removals are going to end up being from Hulu, maybe paying off stuff that, you know, the contracts that they don't want anymore. They don't want this content. They might remove stuff to put onto other platforms, maybe to make some extra revenue. But I suspect a lot of this is going to be clearing up the leftover stuff from Hulu and trying to bring down the costs, because they're not going to want to bring everything from Hulu over to Disney Plus. There's a lot of stuff on there that isn't Disney or isn't under that, so I think that's going to be something that we're going to see. But yeah, so there are going to be some removals. You know, we're used to seeing removals from those platforms, but hopefully with a new Disney Plus, we'll get a little bit better. Don't yet know how this is going to work. Like, is it going to be the same app that they kept for the rest of the world? Or are they going to sort out Star Plus in Latin America? I mean, there's lots of questions. There's more questions than answers, but it's definitely got very interesting to see how all of this is going to be coming together. But we are going to be seeing a lot more general entertainment coming into Disney Plus now. Yeah, this is what we've been waiting for. Especially what I've been waiting for. Like I said, it's not a straight up easy thing that they're doing. There's a lot of layers. They've still got the Comcast. I think if they didn't have Comcast involved, they could announce more details. But this was kind of setting the tone and getting everyone ready for what's coming up. Moving on from there, let's now talk about some other news that came out of that quarterly results, because it was revealed that Disney Plus has lost 4 million subscribers worldwide. The majority of them are in India. Now, this was expected with the removal of the cricket, along with all the HBO content. It was expected. This is what happened last quarter. It probably won't be as bad next quarter, as it kind of is sorting itself out. But obviously as well, with Indian subscribers, they are generally, you know, in terms of Disney and money, a subscriber in India it brings in much less each month than a subscriber in another country. So it's nearly essentially probably like 6 or 7 subscribers in India would be equivalent to like 1 US one. So that's kind of something just to take into consideration. They did lose some subscribers in the US. It was about 200,000. The first time we kind of seen that dropping down, but I'm not surprised, because essentially in the Disney Plus in the US, other than the Mandalorian and the odd show here and there, there's not been a lot on there. So hopefully, you know, with the merger system, we're going to see a much better thing moving forward. Which is good. Internationally, Disney Plus subscribers went up. But all the different streaming services right now are no longer looking at just getting subscribers. They're looking for profitability, and that's a key thing moving forward. We are going to see some price rises. We're going to be seeing the ad tier launching in Europe later this year. It's been obviously successful in the US. No word yet on when it's going to be launching in other countries like Canada or Latin America or etc. But I suspect it'll be coming in waves. There was no other details of when Disney Plus is launching in other countries. Right now, it looks like they are completely focused on ads and making money from this streaming service. They're not looking to do any launches or anything like that. But we are going to be seeing less content being created with the merger. They just aren't going to need as much, because when you put it all together, you're going to see how much content Disney are making. But it's going to be very interesting to see how all this comes together. As I said, it's very vague. No real details. We just know what's going to be happening. But yeah, so Disney Plus in the US is about to go through a massive change when the addition of Hulu and ESPN Plus being merged in with it. It's going to be great. I think it's going to be a lot of content. It's going to basically bring Disney Plus in the US in kind of in tune with what's happening internationally, because it's a huge success. There's been some fantastic stuff released on Disney Plus internationally. But let me know, what do you think of all of this? What are you looking forward to? Are you looking forward to it? Are you not? Whole host of different questions. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to go check us out over at what's on at disneyplus.com. Like, follow, and subscribe. And I shall see you guys soon. Later.